Hello, welcome to the service section of my Tenure application digital portfolio or binder. The service section is this part of the module section. First, it has the service overview video, which is what you're watching currently. I've divided the service section into two areas. Number one, college service, and then we just go down each item. I have something for you. My service in the faculty senate, my committee work, and then I have within that the different committees I've served on. And then scrolling down, you just scroll down, history club. I'm in the history club section. I will have various activities that I've done or my students have worked on. There'll be pictures as well. And then after the history club, it just goes down each item. Assisting colleagues, Nevada Promise Mentor, letters of support I've written for others, and just each service activity over the years at CSN. Then the second section is community service, where I have done community service work. I've worked within the community to better the community and be a positive impact in the Las Vegas community, and you can see that there. The first thing I want to point out is this section, community history presentations. I have that listed here because it is service. It is also in my scholarship area as well. I've done community scholarship work, talking to the public about U.S. and Nevada history. And then I work with Boy Scouts, church congregation work, and then this isn't the only person I've worked on their Eagle project with them, but one of my students last year, Xander, invited me to help out with his Eagle project, so I did that. And so that's the service binder, service overview, two sections, and then in each there's a discussion and documents and emails and videos about my college service and community service while working with students and serving at CSN. What I want to talk about briefly with you is the importance of service to the community college and the community. Why is service important? Why do we do it? I want to emphasize two general principles about service to me. Service is scholarship in action. What does that mean? It means it's the relational work that lets our teaching and our research matter in people's lives. In other words, we're not just sitting in our ivory towers researching or experimenting or thinking or doing what we do, and then it's just for us and we only talk to other scholars. Service is scholarship in action is this idea that why are we doing what we do? Why am I studying history? I believe it can help. I believe it can serve human beings and help them learn lessons, gain an understanding of the past, where they came from. It humanizes the scholarship, makes it more than it's not just an academic exercise. It's not just, I just like reading about it all day long. Okay, great. It also creates an opportunity for a relationship. It humanizes the scholarship, the campus, the people. And when we collaborate with others, students, the community, with each other, that scholarship comes alive. We're not just doing it for fun. We're not just doing it, as an academic exercise. We want to actually help other human beings, serve other human beings with them. And going on that, that connection I just made, the idea of, service is that campus lifeline, meaning, we're again just not in our little rooms or offices in our ivory tower. We're helping others. you know, um, with my students. I write letters for them, or staying after class to talk to them, help them with their academic work, or give them tips. Um, Sometimes I joke with my students that I'm teaching more than history. I'm teaching about life. Time management skills. Um, you know, uh, Critical thinking skills, mentoring, listening to students, as a Nevada Promise mentor, as just a human being, a teacher. I'm studying history and trying to share that with my students. Service also is an important part of shared governance and institutional health, because you know again, we're not all silos. Sometimes in the faculty room we talk about siloing. The English department does its own thing, and the social sciences department does its own thing. That idea of shared governance, where we serve on committees, we serve on assessment committees, we participate in clubs, we collaborate with other instructors, with other parts of the college. We create a community of service, where, yes, I will help serve on the assessment committee to help student success. So, yes, I will develop and serve as a history club advisor, so I can get students more interested in history. Also, so they can feel more connected with campus life. When you think about when students, 30 years, think about your own college experience. 30 years from now, it's not always, and a lot of times it's not just hey, I sat in class for an hour and heard this fantastic lecture. It's the service that was afforded to you. It was, hey, there was a history club that I could go to. There's a Nevada Promise mentor I could talk to. My instructor helped me with A, B, and C. That service to others helps that student belonging and success. Right? 30 years from now, a student won't necessarily remember that great lecture you gave in class, but they will remember that you were there for them. You helped them in some way. You served them in some positive way. Right? And again, think about your own memories of college. What do you remember? You remember the times where you were helped, where you were uplifted. And, that service is collaboration. Kind of goes back to this idea of campus community, reciprocity, or cooperation, or whatever word you want to use. I wasn't just sitting in my office studying history. I went out. I did community presentations, Maud Museum, Henderson Library, Katz Elementary. A student I referenced in my tenure portfolio was there. I did a presentation for him. He was one of my students last year. I did a presentation for his Boy Scout troop. And then what did I do? He had an Eagle project coming up. What did I do? I went and helped with it. That's service. I wasn't just Mr. Bills sitting in my office, closed off, cloistered away, like a medieval European monk. And I was out. I was out serving and helping others, right? And it creates this porous boundary between the community and the college that builds goodwill and mutual resilience when challenges arise, right? We can come to each other to solve problems, solve community problems, right? And what I just demonstrated with service too is that human touch, right? My tenure binder isn't just I did A, B, and C. It's the human beings that I worked with, my Nevada Promise mentors or mentees. Sophia, she's a Paralympic athlete. I meet with her once a semester and we talk about things, right? It's not just, Nevada Promise mentor. It's I served others. I helped other people. Jesus, he was having trouble getting an advisor. I walked with him across campus to the to the D building advisor department and said, hey, he needs to see an advisor. What can we do today? You know, he was having trouble signing up for classes. We sat in my office with his laptop and we signed up for classes together. You got it. It's not just it's not just this raw list. I actually worked with human beings. You know, Xander, Ava this past week for 2 weeks. Trouble getting an advisor. Okay, fine. Let's get on Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams looked at the process and got her set up. And this idea of serving others as human beings, this collaboration, this fosters what? It fosters that human experience. It fosters the empathy, the charitable work with each other, the understanding of each other. It builds trust. So that's kind of the big thing I want to get across, is this idea of the bottom line is, why do we serve others? Because we're human beings. And we're trying to make society better. We're trying to make ourselves better. We want to leave this world better than we found it. And the way you do that is through service. Another way I look at it, their story I can think of is, like we just hired somebody new at CSN, the history department, history program. And that's the point is, my thought was, well, why wouldn't I help him? I've had a great 20-year experience at CSN. Serving others, helping others, helps this person who's never been at CSN before, helps him what? Have the same positive experience that I have. That's why we serve others. We want them to have the great experience that I have, that we have, that you have at CSN. Thank you.